It's the Orioles Unmasked, and we welcome you to Sarasota. Spring training home of the Orioles. Little leaguers getting a chance on the field. Prior to the game being introduced, walking by the dugout, some of the guys congratulating them and giving them a high five. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. Great to have you with us. The Orioles begin the second half of games here in spring training. They are 7-8 coming into this one tonight against the Philadelphia Phillies, and it's a big night for the Orioles. A new pitcher is going to be third in the rotation, is going to make his first start for the Orioles. Andrew Cashner. Take a look at the numbers that he has put up. Last year, he was with Texas. The only time he has spent in the American League was last season. That 3.4 ERA was ninth lowest in the American League, finished with that 500 record. His career record, while the one-loss numbers aren't that good, the ERA is at 3.75. That's a really good number. He's a prolific ground ball pitcher. He was seventh in the highest ground ball percentages last year in the American League. So the Orioles get a look at him other than in a simulated game. Mike Bordick, it's a big night. The Orioles are anxious about seeing him.
Boy, I'll tell you, we all are anxious to watch Cashner pitch for the Orioles. And welcome to the Orioles for him. He's been on the backfields all spring training. This is his debut, taking the bump in the Grapefruit League. And I'll tell you what, there are a lot of excited infielders right now, being on their toes because Cashner, the ground ball pitcher, they're going to be on their toes, ready for a lot of action, and that is going to be the key for Cashner. His strikeouts have dropped tremendously over the last couple of years. He's got to put the ball in play, let the defense do the work for him, and all things will be good for Andrew Cashner.
He's been an interesting addition because while he hasn't played in an exhibition game in the clubhouse, he has been very active, and the players have all talked about the fact he's taken on a leadership role, particularly with some of the younger pitchers. He's not afraid to speak up when he believes it's necessary, and he's done that early on. Normally, guys will wait quite a while before they take that kind of a position. Right. He hasn't done that.
Yeah, he's been around a little bit now. Former first-round pick back in 2008, so he's got some experience for sure. Yeah, he loves to talk baseball. He loves to get involved in the clubhouse, and you've already seen him getting some young pitchers' ears, even the veteran pitchers that have been around a little bit. Listen, you never stop learning in this game. You can pick the brains of former teammate or former players that you faced. I mean, all the better for you. Cashner's looking to learn and get better himself.
31 years old, and obviously a ground ball pitcher is exactly what the Orioles want when they get back home to open up the regular season. We'll have the starting lineups for you when you come back. Phillies, Orioles next. day that started out with some showers and a lot of clouds turned into a beautiful afternoon and evening. Right now it is 75 degrees. Light winds. They are blowing out towards left field. Humidity at 80%. And some high clouds around. But really a gorgeous night. And here's the lineup for the Phillies. And right there at the very top, a very familiar name as Ryan Flaherty, the former Oriole, is going to make the start. He will be at shortstop. It'll be Hoskins, then Williams, Santana, Altair, Franco, Floriman, Rupp, and the starting pitcher, Pivetta, who is going to be fourth on the list for them. And he, interestingly, is in the number 9 spot hitting.
How about that?
In this game.
How about that? Let's take a look at Andrew Kashner, scouting report. Yeah, welcome to the O's after a couple starts on the backfields here in Sarasota. His first Grapefruit League start. A lot of anticipation here, excitement and anticipation for Kashner. He's got a 4-pitch mix, but he loves his 2-seam fastball. That's the sinker, and he can stay grounded with it. He'll flip in a slider, curveball, and changeup as well, just to keep hitters off balance. But look for him to be aggressive with the 2-seamer, keep his infield on their toes, and watch them make some plays behind him. That is going to be the key to his success this year.
We were talking about Ryan Flaherty a minute ago. Ryan was all smiles today. A very special night for him. Not just because he's playing against the Orioles, but for Ryan Flaherty in the dugout for the Orioles. The bat boys tonight are Chris Tillman on the left and Gosman, Kevin Gosman on the right there. The bat boys. Why? Because they finished last in the football fantasy league. And Ryan finished first with the Orioles. So he's back, and he made sure to note that they were going to be in the dugout as bat boys.
Good stuff right there. Good stuff right there.
You gotta love it. And the rest of the Orioles team made sure they knew they were actually going to be in there. Now, how long they'll actually be bat boys remains to be seen in this game. We're underway. Kashner's first pitch as an Orioles in there for a strike to Ryan Flaherty at short. Will he be back in an Orioles uniform this year? That is not out of the question. Ryan Flaherty's got an opt-out. Chopper, that'll go towards short. Big bounce. And he will make the play on it. Sandy over at first base, and Flaherty's out of there.
Now there's that ground ball you like to see. Let's take a look at the Oriole defense tonight. Santander out left field. Adam Jones in center. Gentry's having a good string over in right field. Machado and Scope turning 2 up the middle. Tim Beckham over at third base. Mancini getting first base with Davis on the shelf and Joseph behind the plate.
Kashner's already done the only things he needs to do to have a successful season with the Orioles. He threw a first pitch strike and he got a ground ball out.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I'm telling you.
If that goes like that, he's golden. And he only got 162 games left to try and work it out. Pitch will be outside as Hoskins. Reese Hoskins. He will be the starting left fielder for this ball club. This is a very young Philadelphia team. 24, 25, 26-year-old starters. A number of them who were rookies last year. They're very excited about the young talent they've got in Philadelphia.
Boy, do they have some great young players. How about Gabe Kapler, the new manager for the Philadelphia Phillies? There he is. Played against him back in the day. A fine player, and now he's going to test his baseball knowledge as the manager. I mean, pretty exciting stuff. I know they have a front office that the Oriole fans are familiar with Andy McPhail and Ned Rice, and it goes on and on and on. But good thing there for Gabe, to be the manager here for the Philadelphia Phillies, a young team that can be influenced in a positive way, and I think that's what they're looking for him to do.
Orioles put the shift on with the count. The pitch will be taken up and in by Kashner. There you see the move over by Jonathan Scope against Hoskins. Hoskins, starting left fielder, taking a look down the line. The outfield shades him to pull the ball as well. A good season for him last year. Over the top, another ground ball. This one goes to third. Beckham. He'll make the toss over to Mancini, and a couple of ground ball outs to start.
I'd like to see that.
There is Buck. He came back after this is a split squad game for the Orioles. There you see, these are all homegrown Oriole players who pitched today against the Red Sox. The Orioles won that ball game by a score of 7-3. Harvey, of course, the one of great interest. One of those runs unearned that he gave up in 3 innings. Just an earned run, 4 hits, 3 strikeouts for him. But some real good numbers by the rest of the Oriole homegrown affair that was on the mound today in Fort Myers.
That's so good to see. I mean, obviously, if you want to have success, you have to be able to develop talent. I see the Orioles pitchers stepping up in their farm system, getting the call to come up and help the big club out, and everybody's stepping forward. Tanner Scott, a big arm from the left side. Like you said, Hunter Harvey, the story, he could potentially be on this big club. He's having a solid spring right now, but of course hasn't pitched competitively for a couple of years with the Tommy John surgery.
Yeah. Williams will take the pitch. Nick Williams. Williams getting the start in right field in this game. Probably will be in a platoon situation with Altair, who's playing at center field tonight for Philadelphia. Pitch will be taken up. Before we leave the game, that game earlier today, Orioles won it 7-3. Presley had a couple of RBIs. He went 1 for 4 for the Orioles. Big day for Mountcastle as he ended up 3 RBIs. He went 2 for 2 and had a home run. Came in the 9th inning. This was his second home run of the season. Mookie Betts had a home run off Harvey in the first inning. Harvey then settled it in and kept it under control.
Yeah, Hunter Harvey is the real deal for sure. Great mix, but it's the composure that young man has on the mound. Boy, when he takes the bump, looks like he belongs out there. And nice to see Ryan Mountcastle continuing to swing the bat.
That was a great pitch down and in. Broke the handle on that one, and Jonathan Scope makes the play. Well, the Orioles wanted to see Kasner. This is what they wanted to see. 3 ground ball outs and in a hurry. Here in Sarasota, and the Orioles, another good crowd on hand here. Take a look at the starting lineup. On the starters in this one: Beckham, Mancini, Machado, Jones, Scope, Gentry, Santander. Austin Hayes is back, DHing shoulder. We'll talk about him. Has had some trouble throwing, and Caleb's doing the catching and having a big spring.
Yeah, let's take a look at Nick Pavetta's scouting report. He's looking to stay. Had an early call-up last season with some mixed results. Earned run average up over 6, but he does have a power slider, power fastball combination. It's the changeup that's in progress right now, and if he can develop that, he is going to be a pitcher to look out for. Really underrated right now with a big arm. You see the numbers for him last year in the big leagues with the Phillies. He got hit around a little bit, but the young man's still learning.
25-year-old has got a real good fastball. He throws a 96, 97, and they're working on a breaking ball with him, trying to get him to use the curveball a little more. Beckham leads it off for the Orioles. See the numbers that he put up, moving over to third base, of course, this season, and Tim having a real good spring. He has had 6 runs scored. Big deal for the Orioles, looking to up that number with 9 hits, a couple of home runs, 6 RBIs. And Manny waiting in the number 3 spot in this one. Pitch will be taken away, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Now Orioles still kind of looking for a leadoff hitter. And I know Buck Showalter has talked time and time again over the years that really there aren't prototypical leadoff hitters anymore. It's a matter of putting your best hitters up there, but the Orioles need somebody with a high on-base percentage. Somebody's going to work a pitcher. Get on there for Manny. Manny is driving him in right now. How about Tim Beckham, though? You talked about him having a great spring training. 273, a couple home runs, 6 RBIs driven in. And he's learning a new position. Obviously came over to the Orioles last year in August, had a monster month of August. He's looking to just pick that up, continue to be a spark plug for this Orioles.
There's that breaking ball that he is working on. He will miss inside with that, and Beckham will take the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Talking about the leadoff batter, Buck Showalter again mentioned the other day, as he's done before, what if we just put the top 3 hitters that we have in the 1, 2, 3 spots in the lineup and leave it at that? Well, I mean, it's an interesting concept, talked about more and more in this day and age for the reason Mike mentioned. There's the curveball again that doesn't. So Beckham will lead it off here with a leadoff walk.
Yeah, we're talking about who's leading off. Now, last season, Seth Smith, how about him leading the way? Seth Smith, not a burner at all, but a high on-base guy, and that's why Buck had him in there 54 games. Beckham, as soon as he came over, he went into the leadoff spot. A little more speed at the top with Beckham. Adam Jones is there, Joey Rickard as well. I mean, Buck has been searching for the guy who's going to take it over. A lot of times he just plays the hot hand, maybe mixing things up a little bit for hitters to just have a change of look in the lineup.
Here's Trey Mancini. Trey hitting in the number 2 spot in this game, and as Buck loves to say, can hit anywhere in the lineup and continue to hit. Great season, of course, last year, and he's continued to put the numbers up this spring, hitting at .296 here on the spring. And he'll foul that one off on the right side. The Orioles have been led this spring by Manny in just about every category. Mancini is not far behind him. So if you're talking about the top 3 hitters and you were going to put them at the top of the order, who would they be? Manny Machado.
Yeah. He'd have to be right there at the top right now. I mean, when Manny's locked in and he has solid, consistent work habits, he's hands down top 5 player in the game. Unfortunately, he's been up and down the last couple years, a little bit of a roller coaster ride. So he's trying to settle in as a true pro, be more consistent for a whole season. And I think taking the reins at shortstop is kind of helping him settle in a little bit. His work habits and focus are right at the top. Right?
Big bouncer, that's one. Relay over to first, and not in time. Ball not hit very hard. Kyle Franco down there at third base had a weight on it. Florian with a quick exchange, but not in time.
Yeah, a little chopper, a slow developing double play ball. Third baseman does as much as he can to try to cut the distance down, but boom, always hustling. You see him legging it out. Beat out this double play, keep the inning going strong. There you go, because there are so many big hitters in this lineup. Hustling is going to be the name of the game, getting runners on base so that these home runs can really start to be more productive.
So runner on at first base with 1 away, and that will bring up Manny Machado. Manny at short in the ball game. The numbers from last season, well, for most players those would be outstanding. Major league level. For Manny, not the kind that he had hoped for, and had to pick it up as the season went along to get there, as he had a slow start season last year. So unlike for most veteran players, spring training generally is just getting ready to play. For Manny, it was a little more important that he have a good spring mentally, so that he would feel last year was an anomaly. That'll go to short. Florida's got that one. Florian, he's got plenty of time on this one. So a couple of ground ball pitchers do just that in their first inning of work. Phillies, Orioles, no score. At the major league level, and these two are doing just that. They are in uniform. They're not going to play. but they're here to just get a taste.
Yeah. To watch how Major League players do it. D.L. Hall, first-round pick last year for the Orioles. Big arm. Well, that young lefty. And how about Adam Stauffer? He's a small town of Coatesville, Pennsylvania. And he's got some family and friends watching him get on the tube tonight. 19th-round pick last year. Only 19 years old. Yeah. Watch how the pitchers go about their business. Watch how Major League players go about their business. And that's where you learn the most. Talking to Major Leaguers in the dugout. That's where they're going to pick up so much of the knowledge that's going to help them through this year and then through the minor leagues and hopefully right here in a big league uniform.
There you go. They get a chance and a look at the big league ball club tonight and on the bench with them. So there you go. Coatesville area PA High School.
Yeah.
Adam Stauffer is 19 years old, went to school. Here is Carlos Santana. Santana, switch hitter. He'll start at first base. Yet another one of the young starters for this team, as most of the starters are here for this ball game.
It's winding down fast.
Yeah, it is. And we said this is the start of the second half. This is game 16. There are 30 spring training games, not counting split squads. So you're just beginning the second half of the spring.
Yeah, it's time to turn it up. With Brady Anderson making an appearance in the dugout, that means everybody's going to be on their toes a little bit more with Buck. The young guys in there. Brady might have walked them in just to make sure they knew where the dugout was here.
Pitch will be taken up high. Kazner, the 31-year-old veteran, and those young pitchers can take a look at and learn from. And he will be a mentor for guys like that here in his first year with the Orioles. Will be fouled away. Kazner's best season came with San Diego in 2013. He went 10-9 that year with the Padres. He's pitched with the Cubs, San Diego, Miami, and then last year with Texas. Free agent, signed a 2-year deal with an option for the third that gets kicked in depending on the number of innings pitched over the first 2 seasons. So he's got an incentive for putting some length to his starts out there based on the contract that he got. And the Orioles really are counting on him to be a rock here. And the problem somewhat in the past has been health for Kazner, and they just hope he's going to be able to stay healthy.
Yeah, some of the numbers have dropped for Kazner, but last year 11 wins. He had a very respectable earned run average. 3.40 pitching down in Texas is a pretty impressive thing to do, but his strikeouts have dropped tremendously. So he's become a pitch to contact pitcher, and I think that's important. It's important for the Orioles because we've talked time and time again, last year especially, how many walks the Orioles pitchers had. Defense getting on their toes, balls sneaking through the infield. Well, get a ground ball pitcher out there that's pumping the strike zone. He's going to keep everybody on their toes, and I think other pitchers are going to take note of that. Throw strikes, pitch the contact, have some movement on the plate, and watch the defense go to work.
Kazner walks his first batter, so each pitcher has walked a leadoff batter in an inning. And here is Aaron Altair, who is getting the start in center field in this ball game. Probably will play some right field as well in a platoon situation for Gabe Kapler this year. Kazner comes in with a fastball for a strike. Phillies trying to get out of 5 consecutive losing seasons and get back on track in a tough division of their own and start putting some wins together for a city that, when they win, loves this ball club. That one down the line and right could be a problem if it stays fair for the Orioles. It'll be a sliding catch made. Throw to first. Not in this. In time for the double play. Gentry in right field over on the line made a sliding catch and then got the throw in time to Mancini, and they double it up.
Wow, what a play by Gentry. I'll tell you what, there's some competition in this Orioles outfield right now, and some guys are really playing some good baseball. You mentioned Presley today coming up with a big hit down there playing the Red Sox. Well, Gentry, after a little hamstring problem early, has been playing some great baseball. And how about the defense there? Tough ball, especially tracking it here with the wind. Makes a nice sliding play and the wherewithal to come up throwing a strike to Mancini. What a double play for Gentry.
Outstanding play by a veteran who's vying for a spot here in the Orioles. Here's Mikhail Franco. Franco will go after the first pitch, and he will foul it off at the plate. Franco will be the starting third baseman for the Phillies. See the numbers that were put up last season. Franco trying to pump the average up a little bit this year. He's had a tough spring so far. Only has gone 3 for 26 with a home run and 4 RBIs. He's trying to keep that left foot in the box. He's had some problems bailing towards that dugout on the third base side on some pitches and not been able to square him up so far.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's got some power, and sometimes when you have that power, you think that's all you have to do. So your front hip flies open, you lose that front side, and then it makes it tough. And to try to get back in there, the fundamentals that got him to the big leagues is the key. You see him pulling off that breaking ball right there. Just everything a little bit too quick, and that means the bat head is going in and out of the strike zone very fast. Doesn't give you much of a chance. Your timing has got to be perfect.
He led the club in home runs and RBIs last year. The first Phillies third baseman to have 20 or more home runs consecutive seasons since Scott Rowland did it. Another ground ball. It will be made. Beckham, a little high throw, but well handled by Mancini. So Cashner again getting it done. When we come back at the plate, take a look at Adam Jones. Great play, gentlemen.
You know, when you think about it,
Minnesota at this beautiful ballpark that was voted the #1 spring training site in all of Major League Baseball. It's just a great yard to come to. Roger McDowell, pitching coach of the Orioles. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I think I'm okay.
Good. Good.
So far,
terrific weather. It was a little touch and go. Looking at tonight, with the weather, possibility of some rain and having Cash his first start in an A game, but it's cleared up and it's been quite warm. It's been nice.
Have you ever thought about becoming a meteorologist on TV?
No, there's somebody that does that though.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
You make pretty good money if you're in a big market.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good when I walk outside and look up at the sky and
that's the best way to tell the weather. What do you
absolutely,
want?
absolutely.
Hey, talk a little bit about Andrew Cashner and what you're expecting.
Well, like I said, this is his first opportunity to get into an A game. We've been on the backfields doing some sim games, easing into a little bit as far as the teams that we're playing in the American League East. We see them quite often in spring training. And so that being said, trying to keep our starters away from that. Obviously, we open up with the Minnesota Twins, and looking at the schedule in spring training, we play those guys quite often. So it's been a little bit of a challenge, but an opportunity for the guys to get on the backfields, get their work in, and maybe in a little less atmosphere of not so much an A game, but they're going to get their opportunities. I think all the starters are going to have at least 3 starts in A games, and then the rest of them will be somewhere in a simulated game or a minor league game.
Hey, Raj, Cashner known as a ground ball pitcher. Is that going to be the key to his success, pitching to some soft contact?
Bordy, I think so. Obviously, as you said, he's a ground ball pitcher. Relies heavily on his sinker. A little bit different than I think when he first came up. He's went to Texas, found a sinker that he trusts, throws the ball over the plate, induces contact, and with the defense that we have, that's a good thing. So, our infield defense, I think I've said it many times, is if not the best, one of the very top 3 in the all of baseball. So if we can keep the ball on the ground and let our guys field it, I think that we'll have some success.
Adam Jones with a base hit on at first base to lead off second inning. Here's Jonathan Scope showing some power here again this spring. Roger, was going to ask, we've heard a lot of stories from the players about Cashner taking kind of a real mentor role already in the clubhouse, and also being a guy who talks a lot about hating to lose. Can you talk a little bit about him mentally?
You know, he's around. I guess I can put it that way. I mean, he's always talking, and from the standpoint of being a leader, I mean, he's only been here a short time, and he's had, Tilly's been here a while, Ghazi and Bundy, and Mike Wright, a number of other starters that have kind of got a collection of those guys working together, whether it's in drills, whether it's hanging out in the clubhouse. I know that he's kind of been particular about Hunter Harvey, taking him under a little bit and getting him acclimated to the major leagues and spring training in preparation for his season. And so, it's all the guys are working together, and collectively it's been a really, really nice spring training so far.
So, Roger Cashner, obviously the great veteran, but earlier in this ballgame, we showed a couple young arms, guys that the Orioles drafted last year, D.L. Hall and Adam Stafford. How much of an impact will them coming over to this big league game, have on them in their career?
Bordy, as well as I do, I mean, having an opportunity as a young player, come to a major league game and see the speed of the game, see the size of the players, see the fundamentals that take place, seeing pitchers that they may not get an opportunity to see in person, and being around the atmospheres is really big. We had an opportunity earlier today with some of our young pitchers over in Fort Myers at Boston. Keegan Hagan got to pitch an inning. Michael Baumann got to pitch an inning. Zach Lothar got to pitch an inning. Brennan Hannafy got to pitch an inning. So they're getting opportunities. Obviously, the future of any organization is pitching, and very proud of what we have here, and give them an opportunity to come over and see what it's all about, and hopefully get into some games.
Roger, we really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us. Have a great season.
Tony, thank you.
You got it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go, Roger McDowell, the Orioles pitching coach. Jonathan Scope on the pop-out, Gentry on the fly ball out. So here is Santander. Santander with a runner on at first base. Big shift on against him with 2 down. No score in this ball game. What a spring Santander is having.
He's putting up some numbers. How about 353, a couple home runs, 10 stakes on the board as well. Santander, Rule 5 pick last year, but unfortunately had an injury bug. Kept him out of the big leagues until the last month of the season. Still has to serve 44 days, yeah. But he wants to be a starter right now the way he's playing.
He drills that one into the gap in left center field. It'll be shy of the warning track, though, and hauled in. Hoskins over to get it. Orioles get a leadoff single. Jones remains on at first.
Harford County is
nicest people that the game has ever had play. He is going to be going back to Japan, his home, and is going to play some baseball there. Those are the numbers he had with the Orioles. Those are his career numbers. Report being that got a real good deal to go back to Japan, pay for the Yomiuri Giants, and so we wish him well. And what a great treat to Major League Baseball. Got to see him starting at the age of 34 when he came over for the Majors.
How about that? And he walked away with a World Series ring too, right?
That's the final out.
My goodness. Yeah, what a great career over here.
Good luck to Koji back in Japan. No score in this one as we go to the third inning. Andrew Kashner with that overhand off speed delivery. You see just 79 miles an hour. Here's a veteran, Pedro Florimon, who is getting the start at second base, switch hitter. Hernandez will be the starter. A bunt, a drag, a good one. Sculp, no chance. Did have a chance with a great play, but not in time, and a drag bunt single.
Wow. Wow, what an effort by Jonathan Scope. Great bunt by Florimon, but how about this? Whoop, little snap with the hand and almost gets a bang play at first base. Florimon let up a little bit, thinking that Scope was going to eat that one.
Real fine defensive play. So Jonathan Scope teamed up, of course, for the season with his good buddy at short, Manny Machado. You'll see plenty of conversations going on between the two of them as the season rolls along.
Boy, and I'm sure a lot of highlight films as well.
Yeah. So the leadoff man on for the second time in 3 innings. Walk opened up the second inning against Kashner. Pitch will be taken outside for a ball. Here's the catcher. This is Cameron Rupp. 83 starts, all a catcher last season for the ball club. 14 homers, 34 RBIs. Alfaro will be behind the plate for Philadelphia on opening day if all goes as planned. Throw over and close. Pretty good move right there by Kashner.
Boy, snap throw from Kashner.
Florimon he's got a little speed. Caleb Joseph behind the plate, pretty good at throwing him out, and obviously that's going to cut down the lead. There he goes. Swung on, miss, throw off the mark. Interference claimed by Caleb Joseph to the home plate umpire, but he's Adam Fairchild, the home plate umpire, does not agree, and now Buck Showalter's coming out to talk about it.
Well, Florimon was out at second base as well. Here the pitch up and in, so tough ball to handle. But how about Jonathan Scope, the wherewithal to go back as this infield's kind of hardened up in spring training. And Florimon slid right by the base. And there you see the argument for interference on Caleb or on Rupp.
I think Caleb's saying he held that bat in the position out over the plate, and that was interfering.
Oh, his front foot.
Yeah.
Hit Rupp.
So he made contact with him on the foot as well as having that bat right where he was going to throw. So Florimon gets the stolen base, and the ball fouled off the other way by Rupp, who'll try and pick up the RBI. Each team with 1 hit so far here in the spring training game.
Well, a couple tough breaks there by the Orioles. Tagged by Scope out at second base with them first out, and of course that potential interference call.
So Andrew Kashner gets opportunity here in his first spring training game to deal with a runner in scoring position situation. There's a great overhand pitch, throw made in a hurry by Caleb Joseph to get the out. So the strikeout and the 2-3 on the putout.
Hey, you don't hear too much about Kashner's breaking ball, but he's thrown a couple good ones in this ball game. Has all 4, and at times, boy, he can steal some strikes. This one, though, is a quality out pitch. Buries the breaking ball right on the plate. Rupp swinging over the top, and how about Caleb's nice stop? Bounces out, checks the runner at second, and easily gets the out at first.
So Gay Kaplan with the National League pitchers hitting, of course, here in the spring training game, had the option of not having his pitcher hit, but decided to put him in the lineup. So batting in the number 9 spot, their starter. Pitch taken on the outside corner. Kapler is doing things a little differently. There's a lot of buzz in Philadelphia about his holistic approach to managing baseball. Timeout for the players constantly. Be bold. That's what he has preached to his club. He's also thinking about hitting pitchers in the 8 spot, as Tony La Russa and Joe Madden had done in the past, rather than in the number 9 spot. In fact, the Phillies last year led the National League as a team pitchers hitting 8th. So he's thinking about continuing that. Not in this game, though. He's batting ninth. And the pitch will be taken outside. Count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. 1 down, runner on his second base.
Well, I think now is the time when we talk about the midway point that, pitchers who in the National League are going to have to get some ABs, get more comfortable out there.
Vita hits the breaking ball to short, and he will go to first with it and record the out. The runner will move up. 2 down, a runner on to third base. 2018 Birdland ticket memberships are on sale now at Orioles.com. Save an average of 15% off single game ticket prices, plus receive exclusive orange carpet benefits, including access to opening day, MLB's most flexible exchange policy, and early admission to the ballpark. Information at Orioles.com. Orioles Gus will open up at home against the Minnesota Twins. As the Twins a much excited ball club for the coming season. They feel as though after last year's rebound that they've got a real shot at doing some damage.
Boy, they were pretty aggressive and continue to be aggressive. Didn't they just land Lance Lynn?
Lance Lynn is signed with them, yep.
There you go.
They have added another pitcher to their rotation. Pitch will be taken down low. Runner at third, 2 away. Bringing to the leadoff batter, Ryan Flaherty. Chance to do some damage against his former team here with the RBI opportunity. Pitch will be outside. Lynn is 30 years old, by the way, joins the Minnesota Twins. Had a great ERA, 3.38. So another pitcher gone from that group of pitchers who were available. The Orioles are still out there on the market taking a look around. I mean, they're not done, and Cobb is the name that gets mentioned.
Yeah, Cobb's name bouncing up. I know that the Orioles still looking for that 5th starter, somebody to step up.
And that'll miss. And the leadoff man on here, runners at first and third now. Yeah, the Orioles have not stopped looking. As far as the free agent pitching market's concerned, there aren't many left, but they're going to give it a try. They got Cashner, and they'd love to pick up one more to have available, at least. As we all know how starting pitching sometimes gets decimated early.
Ooh, boy, I'll say. It'd be nice to have a pretty reputable front 5 to start the season off. I know that the Orioles, I don't think this year's going to be any different than years past, have really used their minor leagues.
Yeah.
They make so many moves pitching wise, usually a revolving door, whether it be with starters or bullpen pieces.
Hoskins will foul that one off. He grounded out his first time up. So there you go, what it looks like for the Orioles starting wise. Clearly Gausman, Bundy, Cashner, Tillman, certainly right now in that number 4 spot, and then there's the mix.
Yeah, you know what, and I think what's important to look at is the importance of the bridge man, the long reliever for the Orioles. They had to step up last season. Asher was part of that group. Castro was in that group. Guys that the Orioles really counted on because there were so many short starts last season.
Throw back to the pitcher, throw to third, not in time with a runner going. A stolen base picked up by Ryan Flaherty. And the Orioles faked the throw to second base as Joseph tried to gun it back to Cash.
Not a bad play rate here. First and third situation, of course, 2 outs, and it's the quick throw to the pitcher and then trying to get Florimon off. And they actually may have had him if the throw hadn't been low to Cashner. It's a little bit too much time as that took for that play to develop. Florimon getting in there safely.
So now 2 in scoring position. And Hoskins with a 1-ball 1-strike count. Cashner trying to keep ball game scoreless. Infield straight up, same for the outfield, and a ground ball down to third. That's going to be just foul. And the Orioles face the Twins in the opener. They're going to see Jose Barrios, Kyle Gibson, Jake Odorizzi is in that starting rotation, and Irvin Santana will be coming back midway through the year. So they all of a sudden have got some pretty good looks for pitching with Lynn being added to that group. It's a nice starting rotation.
Yeah, it sure is.
There aren't a lot of teams who can say they've got 5 guys who are ready to be in a starting rotation this year.
No, you really don't.
Some teams deciding that they're only going to go with 4 and then pitch a bullpen day to start, which is interesting.
Yeah. Man.
They being the Tampa Bay Rays. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that ball in the air to right, hit hard. Gentry going back, has it lined up, and he will pull it in for the out. Hoskins is retired. No runs on a hit. 2 are left in scoring position after 3 years. You got no score. On the Twins. Note the start times this year. Sunday games 1:05. All fans 14 and under are going to get the retro Oriole Bird Bank presented by Wise Markets. Throughout the day, Young O's fans will enjoy special activities, including the chance to take the field with the team, be a part of special pre-game festivities, and after the game, the kids get to run the bases for the first time this season. Presented by Wise Markets. Tickets at Orioles.com. That's for the first Sunday the regular season. The Orioles at home against Minnesota. Bottom half of the 3rd inning, and the pitch taken for a strike. Great to see Hayes back in the lineup. He has struggled with a bad shoulder that has kept him out. He's not getting the number of at-bats that he'd like to have had so far in spring training. He's DHing in this game. I asked him before the game. He said, I was throwing in the back fields. He said, my shoulder felt as good as it's felt all spring. He said, I really didn't feel any hindrance in throwing the baseball.
Yeah, he is really close to playing some defense. He needs to be out there. Known for the great glove, speed in the outfield. We saw him last year in September. Pretty impressive defender with a strong arm. He can swing it a little bit too.
So Hayes in the running. Going to make the ball club. It has been a tough spring offensively. He's had only 11 at-bats, picked up only 1 hit. So he was very anxious to be in the lineup. Ground ball will go towards second base. Florimon had shaded him that way and will make the play. Buck Showalter was yesterday was a little reluctant regarding Hayes playing in either of the split squad games today. So Austin may have had a little input on that and kind of said, I'm feeling good. I need at-bats. Please get me in there somewhere. And yeah. I don't know that, but he's in there. And yesterday, I don't think Buck thought he was going to be.
Well, I think they have to be careful, obviously, with spring training arm issues. You don't want to be a lingering problem through the course of the season. So I know Buck wants to keep him back from throwing in-game situations. You get your adrenaline going a little bit, and if it's not 100%, there could be a setback. So Buck certainly wants to make sure. But yeah, for him to get his ABs, I think Hayes may have had a thing or two to say. Please, coach, maybe get some ABs today.
There's Caleb Joseph batting in the number 9 spot for the Orioles, working behind the plate. Caleb's having an outstanding spring. He's got some really good offensive numbers, handling the pitching. Showalter was talking the other day about the growth of Caleb Joseph at the major league level. A guy a lot of people thought would never get above AAA.
Boy, it's amazing. It really is. He's become a very solid professional catcher. He's learned so much, and he's done what the veterans did for him. He's helping some of the younger catchers that are in camp right now. Chance Cisco's making great strides behind the plate. Now, certainly Pitching coach John Russell has something to do with that, but you learn so much from players that have been through it, the active players that are doing it on a daily basis, and Caleb has made a lot of starts for the Orioles over the past few years.
And a lot more to come. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way. It'll be foul back. We talked early on about how this Philadelphia starter was going to be working on his breaking ball. We've seen why, as he's had real trouble controlling it, trying to throw that curveball, which has gone over the heads of a couple of hitters and gotten buried on a couple of others, but he's working on it, trying to get that as a pitch to go along with that big fastball that he's got. It is 1-2 delivery, and that'll be taken outside. There is the heater at 93, and the count will go to 2-2.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good fastball, but his power out pitch is that slider, and they want him to throw it more often. They want him to get comfortable with that pitch, because typically he'll use it for a strikeout pitch off the fastball and try to bury it hard. But finding the feel for it, to know when to throw it for strikes, when to bounce it in the dirt, that's what young pitchers need to learn. And he's trying to do that here this spring training. Also needs to work on that changeup. But there's the good fastball, working on that outside corner. Caleb just a little tardy, as maybe he's thinking about that breaking ball.
First strikeout Vedas had, 25-year-old right-hander. 2 down, nobody on here in the 3rd inning. And that will bring up the Oriole leadoff batter tonight, Tim Beckham. Beckham drew a walk and then got taken out on a fielder's choice in the 1st inning, and the pitch will be bounced away. All word around camp as far as the move to third base is so far so good.
So far so good, for sure. Yeah, Tim Beckham is a great athlete, and I think the only problem that can happen at third base is if he just outthinks himself over there, thinks he has to do things differently instead of being a big league infielder. You know, the way the shifts are nowadays, every one of these guys, Manny Machado, Scope, they've played the left side of the infield, they played the right side of the infield. It's just a matter of catching the ball, you know, containing that baseball, catch it and throw it. Tim Beckham can do that, and I think when he's surrounded by these great young players, we saw what Beckham could do last year. He played a very good game of baseball for the Orioles. Offensively, he was off the charts. Defensively, you know, he showed some great promise, I think, at shortstop, but the fact that he's going to be out there every day for the Orioles at third base, I think is going to bode well for Tim Beckham. He enjoys playing the game, and he feels like he can contribute if he's out there every day.
That was a good breaking ball and thrown in for a strike off speed. Curveball that time. Count goes to 1-2. Hernandez's delivery to him will be hit hard to second base, caught in the air. Lorimon's got it in a 1-2-3 inning. So the 2 starters, good job through the first 3 innings. Showdown time. The most likely record to be broken for the Orioles. Zach Britton's chance to go ahead of Greg Olson and saves. 135, 25 behind. That's going to depend a lot on health. Chris Archer with the Rays, strikeouts, a chance to catch James Shields. Pedroia with the Red Sox, home run, second baseman, the great Hall of Famer Bobby Doerr holds the mark. And Roberto Osuna, the save. Tom Henke, the leader. Blue Jays history. He's got a shot at that. Severino in strikeouts. The chance to best Andy Pettit, 352 behind. And Herrera here with the Phillies, behind Jimmy Rollins in hits, 462. He's got an opportunity to catch that. He'll be in the outfield and center. He's a very young player, and while that's a lot of hits, he's got, it looks like, a career in front of him where he may do.
Right. Yeah, got to stay healthy.
So those are some records for each team that are within shots of players. Scope will make the play on Nick Williams, and he is retired. One away here in the 4th inning. Cashner's getting the ground balls that we had talked about. They're coming here in this start, and he goes into the 4th, having been very efficient in his first start in a spring training game for the O's.
Yeah, you love to see that. Just pounding the bottom of the zone with that good two-seam fastball, keeping it down there and getting the ground balls. And you could tell the infielders love it. They're all on their toes, and they're making the plays behind them.
He knows he's got the D. If he can keep that ball down, this infield can handle it. Here is Santana. Santana will take it inside. Santana in his second at bat. He picked up the walk. One of 2 that have been surrendered in the game for Andrew Cashner. Shift on. Scope way out in right field. And they'll leave Manny on the other side. Beckham, third baseman, moves into the second base spot on this shift. 2-0 count. Will miss with that one down low. Now we'll go to 3-0.
Back-to-back changeups right there from Cashner. That'll be his pitch, is one of his secondary pitches to the lefties. He gets that little two-seam movement on his changeup, fades down and away to the lefties. Couple misses right there, but it's going to be a big pitch for him for sure.
Pitch is in there for a strike. He did a great job at his home park last year in Texas. He had the 5th lowest home ERA in the American League, in a ballpark that can give up some home runs in the middle of the summer when the heat wave is on. The balls are carrying there. But he ranked in the league because of that ground ball propensity in the American League as far as home runs surrendered. He was second fewest in surrendering home runs of any pitcher in the league.
Yeah, that's great. And the fact that the heat down there, it's tough enough to pitch in, so he'll be used to the heat in Baltimore. The humidity hits.
3-2 delivery on the way, and he'll come inside, and that will be the 3rd walk he has issued. This one comes with 1 down. The Orioles and the Oriole Park at Camden Yards are serving as the host site for the Army-Navy baseball doubleheader coming up on Sunday, March 25. It will begin at 11 a.m. Tickets are $10, general admission, lower level seating, and all proceeds split evenly by the Naval Academy Athletics Association and the Fisher House Foundation. For details and tickets, go to Orioles.com/Navy. That is just part of programs the Orioles have entered into this season with the Naval Academy. They'll be doing some other events as well, including having the plebes up for their first event away from the academy. Will be at the ballpark.
Yeah?
Yeah. Will they be excited? They'll just be happy to get out.
Oh, no kidding. Huh? No kidding.
But to have the doubleheader with Army, Navy, and baseball, that's great. To have that at Camden Yards. It'll be great fun.
Boy, it's going to be a lot of fun. I wonder if it'll get much attention as the football game.
Probably not at the beginning.
Right.
Well, the game's got a little longer history, I guess, going to it, but
it starts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't take much. Altair playing in center field. Will try and hold up. Couldn't do it. Fouls it back. Altair denied what could have been an extra base hit on an outstanding catch made by Gentry. The defensive play of the ball game so far was made in right field and doubled up the base runner at first. And a sinking fly ball over near the line in right. 0-2 delivery came with heat up high. They'll check at first base and no. Paul Emmel, the crew chief, says did not go after it.
Nice try right there. Really moving the ball around. You got to cover every part of the plate. Right there, the high fastball. Check swings. Caleb checking down to first base, but no, he did not go.
Short lead at first. 1-2 delivery on the way, and breaking ball that fooled him, tied him up. But missed.
Boy, that's a good pitch.
Real good pitch.
He's made some nice ones down around the knees, and he would love to get that call. If you can get hitters to start expanding the bottom of the zone, boy, that would play right into Cashner's hands.
Altier, outfielder, 27 years old, in center of this game, will be playing some right. And a great overhand delivery at 84. Altier just looks back out like, what was that?
Oh, that is a nasty pitch. Playing the changeup off the 91-mile-an-hour fastball that just missed. And here comes the two-seam changeup, and it drops off the table right at the bottom of the zone, almost the same location as the previous pitch.
So 2 down. Santana, who got the walk, remains at first base. And here is Mikhail Franco. Franco with power. Infield shifts around a bit on him. Not full. That's down the line and foul. Just missed getting one over the bag. He takes a big cut. Beckham not have had a chance on that if it had stayed fair, but it didn't.
Cashner showing a few more changeups here in this inning. And that one tries to steal a strike, but he hung it. He's lucky it just got pulled foul. Those are the ones you want to keep down in the zone.
Franco with the 0-1 count. Santana being held by Mancini at first base. Outfield straight up. Ball hits straight to center. Adam Jones. That one head on. He goes back, puts it away. No runs, no hits, no errors. One left on. Pitching duel, no score. That on base percentage, that's not a problem that developed just this year. And he said, take a look at the last 5 years, how good we've been when we get runners in scoring position, but how few chances we have with runners in scoring position. So I said, okay, we will. Well, he's absolutely right. He knew what he was talking about because he had looked at it. Last 2 years, the Orioles have been last in at-bats with runners in scoring position, even though the average is way up.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty baffling. Not really. The fact that these guys, they swing for the fences. You know, they strike out a lot. They hit home runs. And the key is to get guys on base. Find a way. Work ABs. You know, I've been impressed this spring training, and I know it's a common message from hitting coach Scott Coolbaugh. Dan Duquette preaches it as well, on-base percentage. But the Orioles putting together some quality ABs this spring, and you hope it carries over because they were almost 300 at-bats short from the eventual World Series champs, the Houston Astros, in opportunities with runners in scoring position. You know, you got to give yourself more chances because they can do it. They can hit with runners in scoring position. Like we say, just not enough chances to do it.
So we'll see whether or not the Orioles can carry what they've done here this spring into the season, because they've done a pretty good job of getting some people on base. Trey Mancini, fielder's choice, his first time up. Trey getting the shot at first base. Chris Davis continues to be rested, but should be back doing some baseball work here this coming week. Played by Altier in center field for the out. Mancini is retired. As Chris Davis had that shot in the elbow, that shut him down for 72 hours. And then when that 72-hour period ends, he'll be able to start again. He says he sees no reason why he can't get back to playing, and Buck said, I agree with that. I think he's ready to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, Orioles missing a couple of their big sluggers. Of course, Mark Trumbo on the shelf right now as well. Legs bothering him a little bit. Those two guys on the mend and get him back. You know, you hope they can come back and be a big part, very productive part of this Oriole offense, because they've had a tremendous amount of success with the Orioles before. Of course, Trumbo led the American League in home runs. How about that? There's D.L. Hall shaking hands with Mark Trumbo.
Mark Trumbo took BP today, and he didn't look like anything was bothering me. He was slamming the baseball at the plate, putting full weight on both legs and moving really well. I mean, he looks like he's ready to go again. They hope he's going to be playing this coming week as well.
Yep.
So
yeah, for sure.
Mark looked good. That ball's going to be fouled back. One of the few times you get to see a player actually meeting a fellow player on the bench saying, I don't think I know you.
Right? Mark saying, okay, if you get traded and you face me, I hate fastballs up and out over the plate.
Fouled away as Manny got one to try and drive right there. Manny hit into the 6-4-3 double play his first time up. Trumbo having the conversation with the youngsters that we showed you on the bench, both drafted right out of high school by the Orioles in the first and 19th rounds respectively. 2-2 delivery. Hit hard to second. Raymond's been busy. They'll make the play over the first, and Manny Machado is retired. 2 down here at the bottom half of the fourth inning.
Yeah, Phillies middle infield, former Orioles, Pedro Flormon made it to the big leagues with the Orioles. I guess about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer than that now, but he's been an up and down player in the big leagues for a number of teams. We're getting another shot here with the Phillies, and of course we already talked about Ryan Flaherty over at shortstop.
For the Orioles, past years, getting a shot here for the Phillies. 2 down. Each team's had only 1 hit in the ball game, and the pitch will be taken down low. Adam Jones doing it for the Orioles. He picked up a single second inning, his first time up. Flormon had the base hit in the 3rd inning. Phillies have had the best chance to score, leaving 2 in scoring position in the 3rd. And a strike taken on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike count. These right-handers working both of them into the 4th inning for their respective teams. And they've made their defense work behind them, as Cashner's had 3 walks, a couple of strikeouts. He's been pretty effective. And Pavetta on the other side has had 1 strikeout, 1 walk. Everything else and out, evenly divided between fly ball, ground balls. 2 ball, 1 strike count with 2 away. Outfield deep on Adam, and a chopper hit right in front of home plate, goes to short. Flaherty, he'll make the throw, and he'll make sure he tells Adam about it, and Adam turns right to him right away. Like, how dare you do that? How dare you make that play on me? I'm a former teammate.
I spent the day
Absolutely. Yeah. You know what I think the most impressive thing was? Something we talked about. The ground balls. He had 7 ground ball outs. The defense helping him out. Put the ball in play, and you're going to see some incredible defensive plays. But I like the way he mixed pitches up. He threw a great change up today. Got his ground balls on his 2-seamer. Mixed in some breaking balls. Boy, if he throws like this for the Orioles, good things are going to happen. I mean, he's a veteran guy, and that just lifts everybody up in the rotation. See Brady Anderson in there. All smiles after that outing. Darren O'Day into the ball game. See last season's numbers, 64 games. Had a couple wins, 3.43 earned run average. 76 punch-outs in 60 and a third innings. That's pretty impressive right there. Only 24 walks for O'Day, and opponents hitting just 193 overall. Yeah, he can do it. Handle both the lefties and righties. He 8 home runs last year, but Darren O'Day, the veteran reliever, we talk about some mound smarts. He's one of the smartest pitchers in the game.
Florimon gets a hold of that one, and will take it down the right field line. Gentry going over to get it. He's going to try for 2. Gentry up. He'll make the one-hop throw. Not in time. Florimon on. He's had both hits for the Phillies. A single the first time and a double here.
Wow. Florimon showing the speed. Hooking one down that right field line. Gentry a nice job getting to it. A quick spin and throw. Throw is on the money, but Florimon's speed wins that race.
So Darren O'Day greeted with a leadoff double. That'll bring Rupp up, and the pitcher's spot will be due. Rupp, strikeout victim, his first time to the plate. For Darren, this is the 4th outing he has had. He's worked 3 innings. Each of the previous 3 appearances, given up only 1 hit and 1 run, with 1 walk, 3 strikeouts in those games. Off-speed delivery taken to the gap in left center field. It'll be hauled in on the warning track. Santander tagging up. Florimon will head over to third base. That wind has picked up a little bit now, blowing out to left field. Carried Rupp's fly ball.
Boy, it is not easy to play defense in the outfield here in spring training. The wind always blowing. It's always bright out, and Santander has made defense look easy this spring. My gosh, has he made some plays, and that one right there, not an easy ball, and he ran it down to get the first out for the O's.
Now the Orioles are going to play the infield in. You get to practice some things that you want to do, and this is one of them. A drawn in infield with the pitcher at the plate and a runner at third and only 1 down. So Gabe Kapler wanted his starter to go another, or at least to take an at bat here, and doing it in a situation where you might normally pinch hit.
Yeah, good test here, because there might be a squeeze in order, so of course the corners have to be aware of that. And there's speed at third base. We've already seen how fast Florimon is, so the Oriole infield better be ready to, that's a ground ball, get it to home, get it to Caleb Joseph as quickly as possible.
Delivery by O'Day will be swung on and missed, and the count will go to 1-1. Foul tipped that a little bit into the glove. This 25-year-old right-hander has done an excellent job, allowing only 1 hit to the Orioles over the 4 innings he's worked. Florimon edging off, being held close by Beckham, not getting a big lead. The infield drawn in, not going on contact. Manuel looking back. Play made. Defense works. And there are 2 down. Visit Oriole Park on Saturday, March 17, 10 a.m. to 2 for season ticket tag day. Seat locations will be tagged, giving you the chance to sample views and learn about the many exclusive Birdland ticket membership benefits, including access to opening day. Plus, you can enter to win Orioles autographed memorabilia. For details for this free event, go to Orioles.com/tag day. Get your seats for the season. So the defense drawn in prevents the run from scoring. That'll leave it up to Flaherty. Ryan with a walk and a ground ball out. Florimon a bigger lead off third base. O'Day's delivery to him, and that one will be fouled back. Flaherty grabs the bat. That was one he wanted to hit.
Yeah, well, Darren O'Day and Ryan Flaherty, they were pretty good friends with the Orioles. And Ryan Flaherty, they're back-legged Darren O'Day. Let's see if Darren brushes Ryan back. Friendly competition right here.
O'Day with the 0-1 delivery to him. That one down the line in left field. Santander. Again, the wind will blow it back a little bit. He is over there to put it away. O'Day works himself out of a jam. No runs a hit, no errors. Base runner left on to third. We remain zip-zip. the sights and sounds from the first 4.5 of this one. Great to have you with us, Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick, as the Orioles 7-8 coming in against Philadelphia 6-10 so far this spring. See the good crowd on hand here. Spring training home here in Sarasota. Beautiful. It started out 77-degree evening. Levitta's still on the mound, and that one's going to be fouled back. The 25-year-old had worked only 2 innings in the first game and an inning and 2/3 in the second. It's only the 3rd game he's pitched in an A game. Now, he may have done some work on backfields, obviously, but he's really getting extended a bit. The 4th starter right now for the ball club. That one's going to go right center field. That's going to fall in and roll to the wall. Be an extra base hit here. Jonathan Scope will stop at second base as he leads off the 5th with a double.
Wow, that ball was smoked by Jonathan Scope. He got on the fastball. One of the rare mistakes that we've seen here in this ball game. Fastball up middle, and Scope stays through it, and this ball's got some hair on it. Look at it working away from the center fielder, and it just beat him deep. That's all it did. Jonathan Scope, strong like bull, just standing up at second base.
So Gentry will get the RBI opportunity. He's had the defensive play of the game in right field. Now Craig's going to get an opportunity to pick up an RBI. Orioles get their 2nd hit of the ball game. Each team so far 2 hits in the game. Ryan Flaherty will work behind Jonathan Scope to hold him tight at second base. Made his delivery. It is a bunt down to 3rd, charging Mikhail Franco. Oh, what a play. Mercy. An outstanding play to get to it and make the throw. It's a good bunt. Moves the runner up.
Really a great bunt by Craig Gentry here. That's what you want to do. Get in that direction. But Franco pulling a gem out. Bare hand play on the run. 1 step and off. And wow. Well, Manny Machado, when Machado used to play third base. Beautiful play there to get the out. But a nice job moving the runner up to 3rd.
Outstanding play. Now the Orioles will have a drawn-in infield of the Phillies for Santander. Flied out to left field his first time up, and it's a shift as well. I mean, there's nobody literally between 2nd and 3rd as Franco stays close to the bag. And all of the other infielders are over on the right side.
Oh, my goodness. There you go. Franco over there just keeps Scope honest. Pretty tight right side of the infield. Make for some confusion. Looks pretty easy to just shoot the ball over there on the left side. You're so used to trying to get the head out in front. Boy, it's tough to change your swing.
Santander with only 1 away will foul that one back. He is 2nd this spring in the Orioles in RBIs. He has picked up 10. Manny's the leader with 14. And as we mentioned, Santander's had 12 hits, and that ties him with Manny for the lead in hits this spring as well. But most importantly for Buck Showalter, according to Buck, is the defensive play he's had in left field.
He's been playing a great defense, and that's what's going to get you into the game. Buck Showalter, does he trust you with the glove?
Runner not going. High hop. Romano will make the play and record the out. I mean, this is being played like a postseason game,
right?
Really well. And the defensive alignments that are set up, each team trying to prevent the other from scoring, period.
Yeah, you like to see it. You know, I mean, the games are starting to have some meaning. You're starting to feel more of a major league game atmosphere. You know, the intensity, the managers working to cut down the runs, seeing great pitching. Both pitchers getting deep into the ball game here. Middle of spring training, solid defense. I mean, this is some good baseball right now.
Hayes grounded out his first time up. Scope remains at 3rd base. Now there are 2 down. And a breaking ball. I was thinking, looking at those 2 managers, talking about 2 ends of the spectrum. You got Gabe Kapler, who's managed once in the low minor leagues. That's it. Buck Showalter on the other side. He's been a manager of the year, 3 times now, and a veteran. So many major league games at both ends of the spectrum here in the dugouts for these 2 skippers. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Kapler hoping to bring Philadelphia back into the races. Well, for the Orioles, Showalter again will be faced with trying to maneuver the pitching scene so that it can match the runs the Orioles have scored. Up the middle and a base hit and an RBI. So Hayes delivers the hard ground ball that scores Scope, and the Orioles are on the board with a 1-0 lead.
A nice piece of hitting, staying hard to the middle. I did not know how it didn't hit Pivetta. Somehow eludes him, finds the outfield grass, and the Orioles on the board.
Well, that'll make Hayes feel good as he finally gets some at-bats and an RBI. And the Orioles take the lead on their third hit of the ball game. Here's Caleb Joseph, strikeout victim his first time up. That's how efficient these pitchers have been. We're in the fifth inning. Caleb's getting a second at bat. There's not been a lot of offense here by either of the teams. The Orioles have left only one. While the Phillies have left four, three of those in scoring position. 0-1 count with 2 down. Hayes with a pretty good lead over there at first base. Breaking ball is going to miss inside. Caleb willing to take it.
62 pitches. I'm sure they know what they're doing over there, but it seems like a lot of pitches.
He must have thrown a good deal in simulated games to be going this far in this game. And will come in with the heat. Throw down and back to the bag is Hayes. Orioles will hold their breath every time that kind of thing happens. The last thing they want is Hayes having to dive with that bad shoulder.
Some hit right here.
1 ball, 2 strike count. And that one in on the fist. That one's going to be fouled back. And the count will go to 1-2.
We got Caleb right there. This is Corbin Joseph talking with Craig Gentry. First Corbin in the minor leagues with the Orioles. Good player in his own right. Real good hitter. Guess he loves talking the game.
1-2 here. Hayes not going anywhere at first base. Breaking ball. Going to miss outside. The hard slider. And the count will go to 2-2. Rupp working behind the plate with a nice stop on it.
Real good block right there. The Orioles, they're going to have a chance to make it to the postseason this year. It's the baseball awareness, those balls that are in the dirt, the ability to get to second base without a base hit, or a wild pitch. You have to take advantage of some extra opportunities with the outs that are given to you defensively, and when you're on offense, the ability to take advantage of an extra 90 feet that's presented in front of you. But Rupp makes a fine stop there.
Caleb a little fooled on that one as he had a very late swing. He was looking for something else other than the heat that almost got by, and that was a protect me swing, and that will send Rupp out. So here's a mound visit. That's official. Now there are 5. He gets 6.
There you go. I'm not going to tell Rupp not to go out to the mound.
No.
Let that umpire tell him.
That's right. Exactly right. It'll be interesting this year to see how that works. I really don't think there'll be much of a problem with the mound visit thing. Probably a lot of catchers and managers are happy there's a rule. They won't have to go out. 2-2 delivery, and again, that one's going to be fouled back. We were talking earlier, I thought part of that rule change is about the warm-up pitches that pitchers get before each inning. It used to be that you got 8 no matter what. This year, you're not guaranteed 8 pitches to warm up, whether you're a starter or out of the bullpen. When the clock gets down to 20 seconds, that's it. You're done throwing. 2 balls, 2 strikes still. Hayes off first base. I think one of the reasons for that was we've seen over the past few years, pitchers would come out to the mound very late. Everybody else would be in the field, but they knew the commercial breaks were still going on. So they'd stay in the dugout and they'd wait to the very last minute to go out. They knew they were going to get 8 pitches. So they just took as much time as they could in the dugout. Can't do that anymore. Runner goes way back to left field. He got a hold of that one. Knew it off the bat. Goodbye home run. Caleb Joseph, a 2 RBI dig.
Caleb, when they be right there. Nick Pivetta, one too many high fastballs. Caleb was swinging through the high heater, but he got on top of that one.
Didn't need any help from Mother Nature in the wind department on that ball. Way back over the bleachers.
You see Hayes off and running, and there his eyes go up. How about this swing from Caleb? Oh, yeah. He knew he squared that one up, and backflip on the end for Joseph. A 2-run shot.
So the starter will conclude. The bat is going to come out of there on the home run by Caleb Joseph, and the Orioles have a 3-0 lead.
Join T-Mobile.
Ramos now into the ball game in relief of Nick Pivetta. Threw pretty well until Caleb Joseph got into him. And take a look at Ramos, 59 games last season, a couple wins with a 4.21 earned run average. All three. He's got the fastball, pretty good heater, changeup, and breaking ball mix. Opponent's hitting .253 last year against Ramos.
So the Orioles have a good 5th inning here so far as they pick up the 3 runs on the ball game and a 3-0 lead. Top of the order, here's Beckham. Beckham has drawn a walk and he is lined out. Ramos delivery, a breaking ball in their first strike. Ramos, one of the many Phillies who spent most of the time at AAA last year, did make the opening roster. Got hit hard, got sent down. AAA ended up with a 1.54 ERA and a 2-0 record. Gets taken outside with the Phillies. He went 2-7. ERA was 4.21, so a distinct difference.
Ain't easy in this league.
Ramos working here with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Out of Venezuela, 25-year-old. First time he had made an opening day roster. He'd been with the Phillies a bit in 2016 as well. Ramos 1 and 2 on Tim Beckham. Orioles now 3 runs on 4 hits. The Phillies no runs on a couple of hits. Wind dies down a little bit again. It's been off and on tonight. Fouled right off the end of the bat. And the count will go to 1-2.
Oh, good job right there. Just battling with 2 strikes. One of the messages, and we talked about a couple of messages Kuba gives his offensive players. Get to 2 strikes, it's time to get in that battle mode. You know, you got to fight when you get to 2. Have a little pride about the strikeouts. When we see all those strikeouts mount up, 3 pitches, just take the big hack. Be a good hitter with 2 strikes and find a way to get on base.
1-2 delivery on the way and a good breaking ball, and nothing you could do with that one. So Ramos comes on and picks up the strikeout to end the inning, but the Orioles, they get an RBI from Hayes and they get 2 from Caleb Joseph. He delivers the long ball and the Orioles have a 3-0 lead. In spring training, the Birdland Community Hero tonight. The Orioles honor members of the extended Orioles community who improve the lives of others. That is Kevin Kenny, advocate for military veterans and families, retired Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, leader for veterans-focused charities, including the national Operation Second Chance that is based in Maryland, and Operation Patriot Support that's based here in Sarasota. Kevin Kenny, congratulations and thanks.
Thank you very much. Boy, what a big heart. Right things there. I got a new pitcher here, Pedro Araujo, into the ball game. See, last year pitching in high A and double A, 45 games, 6 wins with a 1.76. Yeah, this Rule 5 arm brought in by Dan Duquette, and he has a chance. This guy can throw the pill for sure.
Starter today, of course, was Andrew Kashner, who gave up no runs on a hit in 4 innings. First appearance here in the A game for the Orioles. Andrew, congratulations. Welcome to the Orioles, and you got to be pleased, I would think, with the performance.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's getting out here working on some stuff. Didn't execute a few pitches, but overall, I'm pretty pleased.
And what do you mean by didn't execute a few pitches? I saw you mix everything up. Your changeup looked good. I mean, there are a couple that stayed up, but your 2-seamer, I think your bread and butter looked pretty tight tonight.
Yeah, I mean, bread and butter is glove side, and I think I missed a few times glove side with lefties. It's early, it's something to work on. Just got to get away from pushing the ball. But overall, I want to get ground balls, and that was the goal today.
And we were talking with Roger McDowell earlier about how you've kind of had, as many pitchers do in the majors, kind of change your style a little bit. Is that true for you from what you were before and what you are now?
Yeah, I believe so. I think once you deal with injuries in your career, you're kind of at a crossroads, and for me, trying to blow guys away all the time just caused injuries, and I just had to figure it out. And Darren Bosley taught me a sinker, and that's something that I've thrived on, and just continually work on it.
Well, it must be kind of fun for you being a veteran pitcher. You've been through so much in your career to be now surrounded by some young arms, some up-and-coming arms like Dylan Bundy, Kevin Gausman. I mean, you must have a wealth of knowledge to share with them.
I'm learning as much from them as they're learning from me, I think. It's, trying to fill them out. I haven't, I faced a lot of AL East teams, but, never pitched in this division. But, it brings my youth back. Definitely want to compete with those guys, so it's been fun.
We keep hearing from your new teammates about how much you hate to lose.
I do.
You talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, my friends back home, man, they won't play me in anything because they know I don't like to lose. I'll win at all costs.
Not a guy to play checkers with then.
Yeah, not Connect 4. That's my game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew, congratulations. Great to have you with the Orioles, and an outstanding performance here to open it up.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you very much.
I'll see you soon.
There you go. Kashner, and it was exactly what you'd want to see. Sisak has come on to do the catching. Caleb Joseph hit a home run, so he gets to come out.
There you go. Yeah. Before I just said, I'm done, Skip. Give me the rest of the day.
I got you the runs.
Yeah.
Give me a rest. Nick Williams at the plate, 1 down, nobody on. Arroyo's delivery to him will be hit in the air off the end of the bat, not deep center. And a nice running catch made. Had him on to get it, and there are 2 down. Let's talk a bit about the backup catcher situation, Mike, for the Orioles.
Yeah, there's some good young catchers in camp. Austin Wins, who spent his time in Double-A last season. Of course, we've talked about Chance Sisco and saw Chance Sisco, but Mr. Cincinnati here, he's got some experience in the major leagues. He was actually the backup catcher for the San Francisco Giants. Got 4 years of experience under his belt. You see the 59 starts there. Caleb leading the way, but I think the Orioles, I think every organization needs catching depth, but they're pretty solid right here with these 4 catchers, and there is no true front runner for the second spot right now. I think all really having a solid spring.
So a spot to be filled, and the pitch will be taken up high as Carlos Santana stands in. Santana's been able to get on base with a couple of walks, the only 2 that were surrendered by the starter Andrew Kashner in the game. 2 down, nobody on. Shift on against the left-handed hitter, and that pitch will be taken down low for a ball.
I see Araujo here, Rule 5 arm brought in to create that depth, but boy, is he fighting for a spot in the bullpen. He with Joey Rodriguez have really been impressive this spring training.
Fouled off, and he's getting his opportunities. This is the 5th appearance that he has made here in a spring training A game.
Yeah, we're looking for some spots in the bullpen. You see the Yeah, 3 they need. Right-handed pitchers. You got Yacobonis. There's Araujo, Asher in the mix, and lefties have been doing a nice job. Edgin has had a strong spring. Donnie Hart, of course, great major league experience. He's having a solid spring himself. Jolie Rodriguez is a Rule 5 guy stepping up, and Aquino, he could be the swing man. He's talked about as possible starter as well.
Yep. And the Rule 5 guys, of course, always pose the interesting dilemma of you got to put them on the roster in order to keep them. And it's tough to do with as many Rule 5 guys as the Orioles have right now battling for spots. And Santander's one of those who we've talked about. He's got to stay for 44 days, not a pitcher, of course. But he's another Rule 5 player, and the Orioles will keep him certainly for 44 days. They do not want to lose him. So he's going to be on the roster guaranteed, and that's why he's getting the outfield work, finding another place to play.
Yeah, he just can't sit the bench and collect rust down there. I know last year the Orioles had Hyun-Soo Kim, and he was just he wasn't being used by Buck at all, and he wasn't quite as tight defensively, I think, as Santander is right now. And I know the way he's playing defense, Buck keeps running him out there. He loves to see this young man play.
Yeah, he's really improved his defensive play in the outfield. A couple of very fine catches this spring. And the work normally you'd expect him to get done, he has. Swung on and missed. So 1-2-3 inning as Santana goes down the K route. We'll go to the bottom half of the 6th from Sarasota. The Orioles leading the Phillies 3-0. Children ages 14 and under join the Junior Orioles Dugout Club. Membership's only $25. Includes your choice of 2 6-game ticket packages, a backpack, cap, and more. And all guests can get a seat for as low as $6 per person. Join today, Orioles.com/Dugout Club. Trey Mancini, Phillies have changed everything up here. We'll get to him as we move along. Trey Mancini will hit in the 2 spot here. Has gone 0 for 2 with a fly ball in the fielder's choice. Pullen has come on to play for Hoskins in left field. Ortiz is in for Williams in right. Quinn's going to make the start. Going to come in at short for Flaherty. And Adam Rosales playing at first base. In case you're keeping score at home. 0-1 delivery on the way, and a good pitch. One down and away with some pretty good movement on it. Count goes to 2 strikes. Oriole pitching is dominated here in the ball game. Ramos came on. Final out in the last inning, stays on here. Another one of those foul balls is not supposed to happen. That was hit hard and very close to Manny Machado in the on-deck zone.
Oh my goodness, we need that.
Manny kind of going, oh my lord. He just moved out of the way. I mean, that's an angle the ball generally doesn't go at. That one did right off the end of the bat and hard. Another one, Manny ducks on that one and then catches it off the screen.
Pretty good play right there by Manny.
Fans give him a round of applause. So he returns the favor. 0-2 count of Mancini, Machado to bat, and then Adam Jones due up for the Orioles. Starters have stayed in for Buck Showalter. Split squad game, but most of the Orioles starters obviously are in this ball game here at home. The Orioles beat the Red Sox this afternoon. Breaking ball slipped out of his hands that time. Comes inside 1-2 from Ramos.
Yeah, Orioles the split squad today, and then they're on the road. It seems like all week. I think Wednesday they're home, but they're away tomorrow and Tuesday. Home Wednesday and then away. Actually, they go to the west coast or east coast of Florida. I think Thursday and Friday.
1-2 delivery on the way, and that one also is going to be foul back. Spring training schedule is going to see the Orioles take on the Cardinals and the Mets on that on the other coast swing from here in Sarasota over to the east. Cardinals and Mets very close to their training facilities over there, just down the road a piece. Mancini battling. 8th pitch coming his way from Ramos. Right-hander's delivery to him will be buried outside, so Trey works the count even. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Trey's so tough to pitch to. Incredible plate coverage. Quite possibly the best in Major League Baseball. Can handle 2 to 3 inches on both sides of the plate. So you really have to mix it up on Mancini, give him different looks, move the ball in and out, up and down. Now really battling tough.
Gets one off the fist to right field and stay up and hauled in. Ortiz just coming into the ball game makes the catch. Trey Mancini retired. 1 down here in the 6th inning. And Manny Machado to the plate. Another visit to the mound. As Rupp goes out.
Yeah,
down to 4.
You know, Manny last year talked about the ups and downs, especially offensively for Manny Machado. When he came into spring training, there was a little bit of excitement. Obviously, there was the World Baseball Classic going on, and Manny wanted to be the shortstop for the Dominican team. So he came into spring. He was working hard. There was incredible focus, much like he's doing right now. And he had a lot of success playing in that World Baseball Classic. And I think when he came in that next month to play for the Orioles, he just wanted to do too much, and his swing kind of got out of whack. But he said definitely straighten it out. Right now, he's having some great practice.
So we're going to get a pitching change here. May have been a little problem with a broken nail or something, the way Rupp looked into the dugout.
Harford County is perfectly situated along the shores
Victor Areno now in for the Phillies at relief. 10 games last year with the Phils. Picked up a win, a 1.69 earned run average. Only 10 2/3 innings of work. I did pick up 13 punch outs. Only 4 walks, holding the opponents down to just that 158 batting average. Didn't give up a long ball. Pretty good arm. This kid, a power fastball slider combination. He'll cut that fastball a little as well.
Arano comes out of Mexico. Another one of the young players on this team, 23 years old. Sunset time with the clocks changed, of course, last night. How many of you got up today and found you'd missed the first hour? Didn't realize it disappeared. Pretty, isn't it? You're into the summer mode. Longer light nights. Here's Manny. Victor Arano delivers to him. Fastball will be on the outside corner for a strike. Manny with one down, nobody on. Caleb Joseph, big blow in this ball game. The home run is first of the spring. 2 RBIs coming in the 3-run 5th inning. Did the starting catching and now is watching and joins us. Hello, Caleb.
Hey, Gary, what's going on?
How are you?
Great.
Feel good to get the long ball?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Audrey Perez, Chance Sisco, Winnie, they've all got homers, so me and Susak, we got to pick it up, right?
Towering fly ball. That's not going to be deep enough or straight enough. Well, you certainly did on that one. Look, I wanted to ask you, though, about Cashner, the opportunity to see him for the first time here. You were behind the plate. You see him best of all. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was my first time to see him, first time to catch him. I've saw him in the sim games. He looked really nice. Boy, it was fun to be back there to catch him. He's every bit of what we kind of expected. Bulldog. Boy, it was really fun. He was locked in. It was serious, like it was Game 7 of the World Series. And that's, man, I tell you, that's something you want to see out there.
Yeah, getting the ground balls, keeping the defense on his toes. But he said he wasn't as sharp, missed a couple pitches arm side, and wasn't really that happy with his changeup. You expect that out of a competitor like Cashner?
Oh, yeah. I don't think he's ever going to be satisfied. And that tells you a lot about his stuff and what he features, that he can make some mistakes and still get desired results, which are ground balls or weak contact. It's really fun to be back there when you have a guy that's pressuring the zone, trying to get ahead, has multiple options with 4 pitches, and thankfully we've got a couple guys like that in our starting rotation.
Who else do you like in that department?
Well, of course, Bundy. He's awesome. He's a bulldog. He gets after it. Really wants to get. That's kind of the thing is we're going for a 4-pitch contact. Or 4 pitches or less with contact, and to keep the defense engaged. You saw today when we keep them going, they're the best in the league. We really feel like that, and if we can keep them engaged in the game, we're going to be good. And our pitchers have good enough stuff to get weak early contact, and then before you know it, it's the 6th and 7th inning. The starters in the game. You hit a 2-3-run homer, and we're winning, and then we hand it over to the bullpen.
I think you just gave to us each year. Buck Showalter has 2 or 3 things that he lays down at the beginning of spring training. Says these are things we're concentrating on. Sounds like one of those is that 4-pitch out.
Exactly. It's a point of emphasis, and that's kind of one of the things that we came into spring training understanding that we have points of emphasis this year, offensively, defensively, pitching, base running. These things we took a step backwards in all facets of the game last year, and it showed. And we have the talent, we have the desire, the TW, the will to win. We got to have it, and you got to go in there and you got to stick to your guns, and you got to stick to what makes you successful. Sorry. And it's those things. It's great defense, keeping the defense engaged, getting guys in scoring position.
Caleb, we really appreciate it. Congratulations. Thanks for talking to us.
How about those Predators?
How about those Preds? Oh, my Lord. Man's a hockey fanatic. That's all there is. For our spring training ball game, the Orioles leading the Phillies 3-0.
And Michael Givens now into the game. Take a look at his numbers last season. 69 ball games, 8 wins. Yeah, boy, can he hawk some wins. 275 earned run average, 88 punch-outs, and 78 2/3. Givens, the big arm. A little scary out there, too. He turns his back to the hitter and then unleashes the fury. The power heater slider combination. His changeup has developed into a serious weapon. You see the numbers. Opponents hitting just 200 off Givens last year.
Orioles are starting to make some changes here as well, along with Givens, who comes on to do the pitching. Cedric Mullins is going to play in center field. Vielma has come on to play at shortstop. Angel Vielma. And over at first base, Adeline Rodriguez. Changes for the Orioles. And Givens. We'll start it out here as we go to the 7th inning. The Orioles 3-4-0. The Phillies just a couple of hits. They are 0-2-0 in the ballgame. Givens with a 95-mile-an-hour outside of first base. No play on that one. Souvenir for the crowd here to start inning number 7.
Michael Givens having himself a solid spring. Surely, slowly but surely, becoming a veteran out there in the bullpen. You just write him in there, very consistent, and has pitched himself right into the high leverage situations. Buck Showalter not afraid to put him in any part of the ball game.
Altair unable to catch up that time. He was looking for something other than heat. He goes the strikeout way, 1 down.
The high fastball. See that one come into play. There, Michael Givens, so hard to get on top of that pitch. You pick it up late, coming from the side. We talked about turning your back on it, so you don't see the ball very well until the very last second.
It'll bring on Mikhail Franco. Franco flied out to center field. His time up to the plate, and the delivery to him a breaking ball. We haven't talked about the closer situation for the Orioles with Zach Britton out for at least the first half of the season. Orioles are going to have to do some mixing and matching. It doesn't look like there'll be any one person who's going to have that job. Which requires some more of that bullpen management that Buck Showalter is so famous for.
Yeah, well, you know, Brad got in there last year and did a fine job. I think Brad Brock is going to be the front runner in that regard, but I don't think Buck Showalter's afraid to put Givens in there, Darren O'Day, some of the guys he trusts that have been in those high leverage situations. But Brock, man, he's just got some swing and miss stuff. It seems like all 3 of his pitches are swing and miss.
And took to the role of being a challenger last year. We talked to them about it second half of the season. He didn't think he was challenging hitters enough early on. Once he had to do some of that work and just came after him, he felt a lot better about himself and about his performance, and it worked. Up the middle to short. Velma will make the throw over, and there Franco is retired, and there are 2 down.
Quick out. See Bielma over there fighting for the utility spot. Seems to be a little competition out there for the utility role. Buck Showalter needs somebody to step up, somebody that he can trust with the glove, somebody that he can count on to run the bases properly, and get in there for some spot starts. And nobody's really stood out. Ruben Tejada right now, the veteran amongst the utility players, will probably get the first look.
Yeah, this position is really open. There aren't many, but there's room for somebody.
And there sure is. You know, there's Tejada with a ton of games under his belt, but Danny Valencia just brought in. Can't play shortstop, but he definitely can play the corners, and he can play some outfield, and he is a monster against left-handed pitching. You know, Buck Showalter is happy to have that big bat in the mix as well.
2-0 count, 2 down, and the heater upstairs is swung on. Just a little tip into the mitt. And Givens bringing it. He's got full gas going here in this ball game. A 2-ball 1-strike count. Pedro Florman has been the offense, a single and a double. That's all Philadelphia's had, along with 3 walks surrendered in the ball game. They're only base runners as the Oriole pitching has dominated this Philadelphia lineup, which has got a lot of the starters in it for Ed Kaplan's team.
Yeah, making some good pitches, getting some different looks as well. I mean, my gosh, you got to face Michael Givens, Darren O'Day.
A little late on the swing, headed over to the bullpen, and that one is going to be out of play. Santander giving it the long run. Santander's not coming out of ball games. I mean, we've talked about his improved defense in the outfield. So Buck Showalter, and he's playing a lot. and he's staying in games.
Yeah, it's good to see. Giving him that experience out there. He needs the reps. That's it. He's just too young. He hasn't had enough reps, and Buck's giving it to him. Hey, baby, you want to be in this team and be a productive player at the major league level, got to get your reps, and he's getting them in here in spring training.
2-ball, 2-strike delivery. We'll go down to first base. Rodriguez will take it to the bag, and it's a 1-2-3 inning, 7th inning stretch time with the Orioles on top of the Phillies, 3-0. Orioles have the 3-0 lead here at 7th inning stretch time. Gary Thorne, Mike Bordick with you, and the Orioles, as we said, in the second half now of the spring training games. Some excitement, some questions remain for the Orioles here to take down. Buck Showalter, he says, I know who's going to start game one, but I'm not saying. He's refusing to talk about it.
Well, you know what? I think Buck Showalter's going to crunch the numbers, with this rotation, because there isn't really a standout number one. Tillman's been a number one before. Gausman did it last year, and he had a tough first half of the season. Bundy had the best year, but I don't know that his numbers are really up to snuff against the Minnesota Twins. But and Cashner, of course, is in the mix as well. So I think Buck's going to crunch the numbers, and we'll find out our starters. But he plans ahead, too. He finds out about the next series, and, of course, even in June and July.
Well, he's concerned about Houston because the Orioles are going to play Houston in their home opener. So all of the World Series celebration, raising of the flag, and all of that's going to be going on. So he wants somebody who's going to be able to handle the atmosphere that the Orioles are going to find in Houston for their first game. He's talked about that. Hasn't said who he thinks that is, but that's what you're talking about, part of the mix. It goes beyond just the first series.
Yeah, there are a couple opening days that happen. Obviously, the Orioles have theirs at Camden Yards, which is a big day, and then you open up down in Houston where the World Series, my gosh, there's going to be a lot of hoopla there. So probably a veteran pitcher will take the reins in that opening start. Francisco Rodriguez, though, now in for the Phillies. The opponent's hitting .292. The veteran right-hander still throws a pretty good fastball and change-up combination, and he's herky and jerky out there, so you really have to be patient with him. Get the ball up in the zone.
Veteran Rodriguez will work against the Orioles, who have kept the starters in for the most part. Jonathan Scope will get another at bat. He doubled the lead off the 5th inning and would come around to score. Valentin has come on for Franco at third base, and Kingery in for Florimon at second base. Cowgill is in center. And the Phillies have pretty much changed all of their starters in the field now. Delivery on the way. Rodriguez still with that herky-jerky big motion that he's always had coming out of the bullpen. Can be kind of tough to pick up when he only has to face 3 hitters.
Yeah, exactly. Arms and legs coming at you, and then he throws that puffball changeup, just floats in there. And boy, you become Bugs Bunny in there. It's almost 3 swings, but you really have to be patient with him. See him up in the zone.
He'll come over the top and get the strike at the knees on Jonathan Schoop. For Rodriguez, this is going to be appearance number 6 already on the season, as he's getting 1 inning of work for most of those games. He's given up only 4 hits, 1 run in those appearances, and they are counting on him to be able to really provide them with some work for the Phillies in a veteran role out of the pen.
Well, you know, you bring in some veterans arms that you trust, and you hope they have the right makeup around your younger players. You want them to help in the development of so many of these young stars the Phillies have.
Thought he had the corner on that, does not get the call, and the count will go full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Jonathan Schoop. Be interesting to follow Gabe Kapler and all that he's bringing. The new kind of manager, if you will. Very player-oriented. Fouls that one back. He's taking time to be with each of the players individually, talk to them, wants to do that on a continuing basis for a season. That is not easy to do. It's very hard because the season is so long, so much goes on, and managers in this day and age spend more than half their time doing PR work and talking to the press. So it's a loaded schedule once the season begins. 3 ball, 2 strike count will come again. Jonathan Schoop will take it, and again Rodriguez thought he had the corner, doesn't get it, and Schoop is on with a leadoff walk.
Nice AB right there by Jonathan Schoop. Some borderline pitches and 3-2 change back to back there, just missing. Jonathan laying off the tough bit. Good ABs continue to build up for the Orioles.
Yep. So Yastrzemski will come on to run for Schoop up from the minor league camp, and Jonathan completes his night's work here on this Sunday, and Yastrzemski is the pinch runner. He'll be on with nobody out, and here is Gentry. Infield double play depth. Gentry will take the pitch for a strike. Gentry is flied out, grounded out, made the great defensive play back in the 2nd inning. Getting a double play and a fly ball to right, made a great catch down the line, got the ball back to first base, and able to double up Santana on the fly ball by Altair. 0-1. Yastrzemski leaning, draws the attention of Rodriguez, and the throw over to get him back.
Gentry, one of these players, Buck Showalter loves him because he likes a player that he can look down on the bench and say, all right, he can steal me a base late in a ball game. He can go in there and play solid defense for me late in a ball game. Craig Gentry is his type of bench player, and he can certainly fill in.
That one to right, sinking line drive is going to fall in. Good read by Yastrzemski, going to go to third. Throw is cut off. And the Orioles first and third.
Yeah, beautiful read right there. Minor leaguer Mike Yastrzemski. A good read on the little flare out to right field. Nice job by Gentry, but it did not take him long at all to make up his mind, and off he goes. First and third situation now for the Orioles. Take a look at Gentry battling tough pitch. The outside corner, and he battles with 2. Finds some outfield grass.
So Gentry gives the Orioles a chance to add. Rodriguez unable to get the first 2. Infield's going to move in with again Santana at the plate, as was true in his last at bat, had the infield drawn in against him. In the same situation here. First and third, nobody out. Orioles with 5 hits on the board now. Santander taking a breaking ball, blocked, and kept out in front for a ball. And Rupp's gone the distance behind the plate, made a couple of nice stops on balls.
Yeah, for a big man, showing some pretty good agility moves back there, and the touch with the big body to keep that ball right in front of him. Killed a couple tough balls that have bounced in the dirt, some breaking balls, and he's kept them right in front of him.
Santana has grounded out and flied out. Runner goes. Ball down the line. It's going to be a base hit. Ortiz coming over to get it. Run will score, and over to third base will go Gentry. So Santana delivers the RBI single, and the Orioles have a 4-0 lead.
Santander staying hot at the plate. Coming up big with an RBI here. Gentry on the move. Ball finds outfield grass again. So Gentry walks into third base. Orioles playing first and third. No outs on the board.
Said Santander and Manny Machado have been the leaders offensively in picking up the RBIs, and the Orioles get another one from him. Santander picks up his 11th run batted in the spring, and a team leading 13 hits. Here's Austin Hayes. He's delivered a single, an RBI. He scored. Infield again will stay in. Same situation. Runners on at first and third. Runner goes again. Throw through. Runner not coming. It'll be a stolen base, but off the bag and out. So could not hang on to it. He got there in time. Santander did to have a stolen base, but went right by it.
Like to see the aggressiveness. Quick look in there from Santander. The big man off and running, but too much speed as he slides by the base. Yeah, trying to elude the tag again. A little too late there. I like to see Buck putting these guys in motion a little bit. The Orioles not known for their running, but any way to put some pressure on some defense.
So Rupp able to make the toss down. The infield will stay in now with one away, and the 1-0 delivery on the way is a fastball that's going to miss inside. The Hayes from Rodriguez. Good play made by Kingery on that tag to stay with the tag. Orioles have had a couple of hits with runners in scoring position. They are 2 for 4. Phillies are 0 for 6. 2-0 delivery, again jamming him. Come inside and miss. Good house on hand here in Sunday Night Baseball. 7,202. 202 on hand on a most pleasant evening. 77 degrees when we started. Probably dropped down to about 70 or the upper 60s right now, but it's very comfortable.
Yeah, beautiful night for baseball. A little chilly the past few days.
Yeah. That one in the dirt. So Rodriguez not close on those, and he will surrender the walk, and the Orioles again will put runners on at first and third base.
Caleb was talking about he and Susac without the long balls. Susac got a chance.
He will not do it against Rodriguez. So Rodriguez comes on. He walks 2, gives up 2 singles. He has been charged with a run so far and responsible for the 2 Orioles on.
Pitched in high A and rookie ball. Only 17 games, picked up 4 wins, 3.72. But how about these numbers? 67 innings pitched, 82 punch-outs, only 56 hits given up. Young man's got a good arm, good movement in the zone.
I was just looking. Kapler doesn't make the pitching change. He hasn't, at least he hasn't here in this ball game. Kapler's, maybe that's something else he's going to do that's going to be a little different. Sends out somebody else. Pitching coach, assistant pitching coach.
Yeah.
Has he been going out?
I think he just
was it him? I didn't think that was him last time out. Oh, sorry. My bad.
It's all right.
I thought he had stayed in. Susac gets his first chance at the plate. As the Orioles have runners first and third, the infield in at first and third, midway, middle infield. That one to right. Runners will stay where they are. Susak is retired in the fly ball to Ortiz. So the first out of the at bat for Dominguez in his appearance. The other out coming on the stolen base here in the inning. And now 2 away. Runners remain on at first and third. Orioles will try and get the big 2-out RBI hit from Beckham. Beckham at the top of the order. Strikeout lined out. Drew a walk his first time up. Infield can back up for the first time here in the inning as they've been playing in with the Orioles' first and third situations. Comes in with the high heat at 95.
Good fastball right there. It's got a little natural cut on it as well. Another big kid, some arms and legs coming at you.
Pitchers dominating early in the ball game. Orioles finally able to break through in that 5th inning. They got the 3 runs on 3 hits. Caleb Joseph, the 2 RBI homer. RBI base hit by Hayes. Otherwise, the pitchers had dominated through the first half of the ball game. And the Orioles here in the 7th inning so far have been able to add a run on the Santander base hit. He will miss with that one, and a 2-ball 1-strike count.
Nice to see the Orioles starters trying to push through, get a little deeper in the ball game. Scope just came out of the ball game. Beckham's last AB.
Well, the pitchers have been so efficient in the game that we went deep into the ball game before guys were getting their second and third at bats. Trying to give him, I think, a 4th time to the plate if he can. Orioles lead off first and third. 2-ball 2-strike count. Dominguez with a long hold, and he went around. So Beckham will be retired on the strikeout. The Orioles will pick up a run on a couple of hits. A couple on base, take a 4-0 lead after 7. Where you usually win games at the major league level. If you can get those, they have, and they'll go to the bullpen again.
Yeah, Alex Wells, how about this? Get to see him live and in color here. He was on the minor league report a number of times last season. 25 games, 11 wins with a 2.38 earned run average. Pretty impressive numbers across the board for Alex Wells in his first year in Delmarva. And this is a great opportunity for him. Show what he's got in front of Buck Showalter and the Major League pitching staff.
Get his first opportunity in an A game. Mike Yastrzemski is going to stay in the ball game in left field. Adamai Rafaela will play in right now. Gentry out of there. Mountcastle's come on to play at third base, and Alcedo is on at second base. And the Orioles have also had complete changes in the field. Going the distance in this ball game as Rupp did not go around on that one. He's done the catching. He has flied out and struck out. Top half of the 8th inning, and a foul ball. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Good job by Givens, who came on, pitched an inning, and 1 strikeout, retired the side. Where pitchers have been dominant here in this ball game. On the inside corner for a strike to him. He gets up on him 1-2.
Yeah, it's been a good day for Orioles pitchers down at Fort Myers, taking on the Red Sox. Everybody from the Oriole organization pitching in and doing a nice job this evening.
Fouled off outside of third base. Mountcastle's played in both games today, right?
Yeah.
He went to the Red Sox game this afternoon. They won 7-3, had a home run in that ball game in the 9th inning. Now here he is playing third base in the 9th game. Base hit center field. So Rupp gets a leadoff single. And the Phillies will try and break through on the scoreboard here in the top half of the 8th inning. A pinch runner. Yeah, Dito Trump has come on to do the running at first base. Rupp is out of the ball game. Kingery's going to get his first at bat, hitting in the 9 spot.
Put up some good numbers in minor leagues.
Kingery playing at second base for the Phillies right now. Phillies have had only 3 hits in the ball game. Florimon, who's out of the ball game, single and a double in the 3rd and 5th. And then the base hit here by Rupp to lead off the 8th inning. Wells, the delivery is going to be taken into left field. Trump will stop at second base. Kingery is on with a single, and for the first time since the 3rd inning, Phillies have developed a scoring opportunity.
Yeah, these are the type of situations Buck Showalter likes to see how his young players handle it in any regard, not just the pitchers, but the position players as well that Buck has on the field. Late in the ball game, you know, playing against the fighting Phils. Do you have enough wherewithal to kind of bear down a little bit, make the play needed, make the right pitch here in these type of situations, not get caught out?
Quinn goes to short. There's one relay over to first, and the Orioles turn the double play. Pitcher's best friend comes into play right there.
Yeah, that's the answer that Buck Showalter likes to see. Get the ground ball, have the defense turn it over for you. Yeah, beautiful. 6-4-3 cleaned up utility infielders.
So a runner now at third base, but there are 2 away. They're going to need a big 2-out hit to get rid of that 0 that is up there on the board. And the high heat, 90 miles an hour, will be taken for a strike.
Strikes. That's the most important thing that Buck will look at is, are you aggressive, challenging hitters with what you have? Right now, just filling up the strike zone.
Check swing, foul ball. You'll be able to get a 0-2 count on him here with 2 down. And what looked like it might be a very big offensive inning for the Phillies. Suddenly an opportunity for Wells to leave the 0 up on the board. Pretty good cut on that one. Fouled it back into the screen. Rosales getting his first bat in the ball game, hitting in the 2 spot.
Now the elevated fastball there up and in. Rosales saw it pretty good. He drove it down and in. Now where Susac wanted it.
Up and a little bit inside. That one's going to bounce at the end of the dugout. Cal will stay at 0-2. Adam Rosales, one of the veterans, 44 years old, with Oakland. Started last year, finished up in Arizona. Little chopper that's going to go to short. Levis up with it, throw, and a nice pick made it first base by Rodriguez. That'll retire the side. No runs on a couple of hits, no errors. A runner left on at third. Orioles up 4-0. With MLB.com at bat. Get all the highlights, stats, breaking news, and more. All you got to do is go to MLB.com at bat. Got a new catcher as Logan Moore will come on to do the catching. That one looped, and it is a fair ball down the line. Pulling over to get it. On his way to second base, Mullins. He's got a double.
Cedric Mullins, a rough offensive spring training, but defensively has been a standout. Some incredible plays out in center field, but finding a base hit right here. Staying inside this pitch, shooting it down that left field line, and then speed comes into play. As this ball kicks into foul territory, Mullins can flat out fly easily into second base.
Well, the Orioles get another scoring chance. That'll be hit number 7 for the Orioles. Mullins wasted no time getting out of the batter's box. And that made the difference rather than waiting to see if it's going to be fair or not. Take off and get it done. And Rodriguez to second. That was off the end of the bat, not hit hard. Kingery coming over to get it. And Rodriguez in his first at bat is retired. On away here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. That'll hold Mullins on at second base. We've had some pretty good at-bats in this ball game. Belma will get his first at-bat playing at shortstop. Belma will take the pitch. It is in there for a strike.
And not that the Orioles have kind of verbally said, hey, let's cut back our strikeouts, but they've done that this spring training. They've had better at-bats. Talked about just battling with 2 strikes. They've been able to do that.
Kingery will make the play over to first base. Runner advances. Mullen goes third with 2 down.
But the whole key is to be able to take it into the season and stay consistent with it and force pitchers to throw more pitches. And obviously, like we talked about, just to get more opportunities with runners in scoring position.
That'll bring up Mike Yastrzemski. AA, AAA last year. Numbers he put up. He gets his first at bat in the ball game. And will take the strike on the inside corner. Dominguez came on in the last inning. Got a couple of outs. Now trying to leave a runner at third base in the bottom half of the 8th. Sanders' delivery. Heater down low. Talking about the Orioles offense and why the strikeouts have hurt so much. They were the fourth most strikeouts last year in the American League, and that resulted in being the second lowest on base percentage in the American League that we were talking about earlier. Nevertheless, they were right in the middle of the pack in runs. They ended up 8th. So think what you could do if you get a few more people on base. That one will be fouled off. Stremski with a big swing. Mullins back to third base, 2 down.
Yeah, it's an offense that's so dangerous that can win ball games. I mean, they had a lot of come from behind wins last season, late in games. So you can never count them out, and that's really what keeps the Orioles in it, the ability to hit that long ball. And you just get more chances with guys on base, and obviously more runs going across the plate. You said it, that magic number being 4. That's what the Orioles need to get to on a nightly basis.
2-2 delivery on the way. Went down and got that one to center field. Will be handled. Cowgill goes over to get it. Orioles 3 outs away from picking up this win against the Phillies. They lead it 4-0. Game, it'll be coming your way on Wednesday, and it'll be the Yankees. Our coverage on Masson begins at 1. You can log on to MassonSports.com. Rock Kabatko, Steve Maleski, they have all the news and notes from spring training every day for you. St. Armand's Circle here in Sarasota. Busy restaurant shopping area.
And James Teague now into the ball game. Last year, some pretty impressive numbers as he worked through single A. 21 games, picked up a win and a 2.31 earned run average. Knows how to throw the rock. Only 16 hits given up in those 23 innings.
There it is. First showing our broadcast. Shirt that's made all people famous. Pitch on the way, and a ground ball will go to short. Yelma makes the play over to first base. And 1 down as Ortiz is retired. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Baltimore Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Didn't mean to write on your shirt.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's an old shirt.
Well, it's the end of the game. So. One away, nobody on here in the top of the 9th inning. Pullen getting the opportunity. He came on to play in left field for the Phillies. Lots of good news for the Orioles in this one. I mean, they lead it 4-0. That's real good news. Andrew Cashner making his first start for the Orioles. 4 innings, no runs, 1 hit. He walked 3, struck out 2. The bullpen's been outstanding. Orioles able to develop some offense. Caleb Joseph, first home run of spring for 2. He's had an RBI base hit. Defense has been flawless. Kept that way as Rodriguez gets it over to T.
Yeah, and there's been a sound game for the Orioles, a sound day. The Orioles playing some good baseball down in Fort Myers, taking on the Red Sox, and now tonight taking on the Phillies. Very clean game, and you'd love to see the aggressiveness of the pitchers. Cashner, I thought, did a great job, aggressive with his sinker. But the bullpen and then the young arms that have come in here at the end, just pounding the strike zone. It's challenging hitters, and that's what you love to see about the young arms.
Cowgill gets a chance to down here in the ninth as the Orioles look to try and put this ball game away. Teague's delivery will miss just a little bit inside. Orioles with 4 runs on 7 hits, no runs, 4 hits for the Phillies. 1-0 delivery. Right-handed boring pitch inside. A little bit too much inside, and the count will go to 2-0. Wells, the only pitcher the Orioles have had tonight to give up more than 1 hit, and he gave up only 2. Today gave up 1, and Cashner gave up 1. Oh, high in the air to left field. And it comes down to Yaz. This ball game's up. And the side retired in order as Teague sets the Phillies down, and the Orioles come away with a 4-0 win, so they make a sweep of it. Their split squad game, 7-3 win against the Red Sox in Fort Myers this afternoon, and the 4-0 win against the Phillies here in Sarasota. Good victory for Andrew Cashner, the 31-year-old right-hander, with his first spring training appearance for the Orioles, going a solid 4 innings.